Hey everybody, so it's Monday again. You ever have that feeling where you go into kind of a time warp? And I feel like I just sat down to do one of these, not even a few days ago. It isn't like I, have a black hole in my memory. I remember most of the week and, doing stuff on the weekend. But yeah, for whatever reason, I'm just like, wait a minute, it's Monday again? Yeah, just like last week and the week before. I mean, the older you get, the more they're going to start running into each other, so get used to it, I guess. But, yeah, still not much to report, still doing a lot of winter prepping. Um, we had to bury all these flowers so that they would sprout in the spring and, tried to get some wood stacked and, didn't get as far as we would have liked to, but that's just, because, it's America 9 to 5. You're burning yourself out during the whole week, so Saturday you at least give yourself the luxury of sleeping in, and then making a decent breakfast, and, by that point, most of the morning shot, and so, you just mostly have most of the afternoon, and, oh yeah, there's daylight savings this week, so, that's always interesting. That's one thing that I didn't miss, when I was over in Arizona, is that they're not having daylight savings. This is me totally stealing another comics joke, so this is not me, this is not copyright Nick, but, one of his jokes about no daylight savings in Arizona was, daylight savings. There are people like, why don't you have daylight savings? Well, let's see, we got about, 100 degrees, 100 days over 100 degrees. Who wants to be saving any of that shit? So, it was a good joke. I kind of butchered it, but that's because it's not mine to tell anyway. But, yeah, it just made more sense. Daylight savings I always thought was from farmers or something like that. It was actually started in the military, changing the time so that, they're up with the sun up and stuff for operations, which is interesting. I always thought that it was some kind of, it's like, oh, well, the rooster said that it was morning, so I guess it's going to be morning. We might as well adjust our clocks to meet up with the rooster. I can't talk today, but you get what I'm saying. I thought it was always a military thing, but yeah, so the holidays are coming up, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. When I was a kid, I used to love them. Now I'm getting to be an adult, and, then they're not as great. I'm sure that once I have kids, I can, like, re-see it through their eyes, and so be able to have that kind of magic all over again. That's what I've been hearing about a lot of podcasts that I'm listening to. They're just like, with Halloween, it was great when you're a kid, and then it was, all right when you're, a young adult, and then it starts getting better again when you're an older adult. Like, you start appreciating that it's like, oh, now it's a holiday I can drink, not just, do parties and candy. And then if you have kids, you can rediscover the magic through their eyes, be thinking about their costumes and stuff. And, yeah, I mean, it definitely probably will be a blast. But, as it is right now, it's just like, oh, that's right. I either have to grab some candy, put it in a bowl, or keep all the lights off and, draw the curtains so they can't see the TVs on and, have them try and come up anyway. So it's a little bit different. Oh, that's not necessarily true. For Halloween, we did walk Lilu around, and she got to meet a whole bunch of, groups of kids in costumes, and she actually did really well with them. She was obviously a little nervous because it's like, okay, there's this horde coming upon me, and I can't, get anybody's facial features or even much body read from, the costumes that they're wearing, but as soon as she hears, oh, baby, she knows exactly what the score is. She's like, oh, I got some belly rubs coming. I got some faces I can maybe kiss. And I'm sure dogs love kissing little kids' faces. They're right at their height, and they probably smell like, whatever they were just eating. Probably something usually pretty yummy. So, yeah, I can imagine. Dogs love giving little kids kisses. It's going to be a tasty face. It's all sticky. But anyway. So, yeah, holidays are coming up. I haven't been to too many retail stores, so I don't know how bad it's gotten, but I do remember that when I was previously working retail, we already had the Halloween stuff in the clearance bin before Halloween even happened. And always a very limited, like, little tiny, like, side shelf of Thanksgiving stuff, if that. And then usually it's just the big, huge display that you first see when you go into the front is usually Christmas before Halloween's even over. So I don't know if we're getting just about as bad as that. It's kind of like with cars and the fact that, the 2012 model comes out in 2011. They just kept on rolling it back until, like, now it's the future, So it's kind of like that with the months. It's like, hey, so Christmas time, it's like, dude, it's the beginning of November. Relax. Can we please, You know, are we supposed to be giving thanks? Are we supposed to be having turkeys up instead of you know, snowy, you know, snowy signs and all that stuff in the background? But anyway, that's just me, you know, just bitching for the sake of bitching. I really don't have much to complain about at the moment, and that's great. You know, it's if you're bitching about the hacky comedian stuff about like, oh, the holidays and you know, daylight savings time, like, you know, the stuff that's been done to death, you know, as far as a premise goes. If that's what you have to complain about for how the week's been, then obviously you're doing all right. You know, so the new car has had a couple of things. So like it says change oil when it hasn't even been 3,000 miles yet. So I'm just like, relax. So you don't need to get changed oil. But now I am starting to realize how come the previous owners were so religious about their oil changes, because the thing starts bugging you before you've even gone like 2,000 miles. So they were just like, okay, just to get the light to go off, I'll just do an oil change. You know, the tire pressure light came on, but the tires all are fine. I'm pretty sure it's just the cold weather, you know, so that's something that a lot of people don't do is, you know, most people will put air in their tires in the wintertime because it gets, you know, colder, and so, you know, they kind of compress a little bit, and the tire light comes on. What they usually won't do is then when it starts to get warmer, double checking the pressure that you don't have to let some out, because then the air's expanding as it's getting warmer. And almost anybody puts air in their tires in winter, but they almost never take it out in the summertime. So just something to keep in mind when the air starts getting warm, and if you think of it. And then the most annoying one, it's only cosmetic, but so the hubcap that it has a little, you know, foam rubber, whatever it is, like between the hubcap and the tire itself. And so the glue in that started to come off. So it was whipping as I was going down the road. I was like, what is that sound? And then so I figured out what it was. And unfortunately, a piece had broken off before I was able to take off the hubcap and re-glue it. So I got to find, you know, it's just little stuff like, but this is what I want to make sure to do now that I actually have a decent car, is that, you know, back in the day I would just get a beater, run it to the ground, get a beater, run it to the ground. Now I have a semi-decent car, so I want to keep up on all these little things, because it's just like, it's a little thing. It's like, honestly, do I even need a hubcap? I mean, I can just drive around without. And you start doing that, and then within the space of a year, you're driving a POS again. So, no, I'm not smoking in it. I'm going to repair stuff as it happens. You know, that's just, if you do it, the little stuff by little stuff, you know, you just think about it all week, and then it takes like an hour to get done on the weekend. You're just like, why the heck was I worried about that the whole time? But if you let, you know, 8, 9, 10 things go, well, guess what? Now you have, you know, a couple $1,000 project on your hand, since you didn't just keep up with it. So it's just such a simple, easy life lesson, but it's one that if you haven't been doing it your whole life, you kind of need to get the gears rolling and, you know, kind of get back into the habit, or not even get back into the habit, just get into the habit of doing that. Make better, right? Isn't that the theme of this? So yeah, let's turn away from bitch mode, venting mode, to you know, hey, helpful tips and you know, things I'm trying to do better. Isn't that the whole point of me changing the name? Was that I'm supposed to be trying to be positive and not being like, the holidays, daylight savings. It's like, no. It's like, hey, you know, new car, keep up with it. Make sure to be taking care of those tires, and you know, they'll thank you. That's more what it's supposed to be. There we go. We're back on track now. How about that? So yeah, hopefully things are going great. Hopefully, you know, you're able to get a little you time in between doing what you need to get done. And, you know, definitely if you don't think that you're in a great place, you know, now's the perfect time to, I mean, everybody's starting to reassess, you know, with everything that's gone down. A lot of people are just reassessing, you know, what they've been doing with their lives. It's like, I mean, that's one thing I did. And yeah, if you've just been kind of feeling like you're stuck in a rut, and it took, you know, either being quarantined for a couple months or a couple weeks, or having, you know, a loved one pass, or, you know, whatever kickstart this, you know, these past couple years, if they've been pretty bad, you know, use it to turn it around, make, you know, reassess what your priorities are and stuff. That's, I mean, what we all should do, and that's how come usually after Big Plague there's a renaissance. And I think I've already said that in previous podcasts, but it makes so much more sense now. Like, you know, I vaguely remember this in history class, you know, like maybe they covered that there was, you know, a plague at this point, and then there was a renaissance at this point. Mostly the only renaissance I usually knew about was just like, oh, this was this painter during the Renaissance period. It's like, wow, there's a lot of painters during the Renaissance period. Yeah, well, that's basically what it is, you know, a lot of people having time to spend indoors away from, sick people and just trying to quarantine and be safe. And, they had nothing but time on their hands. And so they usually would, break out a masterpiece or, think about the world in a different way because they actually had time to, and, stuff like that. So, yeah, let's, instead of having this be our dark times, let's have this be our Renaissance times if we can, right? Make better with the Renaissance. I don't know. I don't got much, like I said, so this is going to be another quick 10-minute one because I've been having a lot of luck uploading these when I've been keeping them short, so that's what I'm going to do. I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Make it better. All that stuff. Doop-de-doop-doop theme song.